Hello and welcome to Drake's Thoughts on Life. I'm Drachona, and this is a bit random, but I have a few thoughts I want to get off my mind. I want to talk about how exactly is it described? Sorry, I'm looking at the information for this at the same time. A serial comedy drama known as Jane the Virgin on the CW. Now, I saw a preview for this. I can't remember when that was. It was probably like earlier this year, maybe late last year, probably a combination of both, actually. And when I first saw it, I knew that it wasn't something I'd want to watch. It wasn't even intended for me. It's not the kind of thing that I would want to watch. But just when I saw the premise, for anybody who doesn't know, the way that the commercial went, there's this young Hispanic woman, and she's a virgin, and her mom and her grandmother are, they really want her to keep her virginity until she gets married. And all of a sudden she randomly finds out, oh, I'm pregnant. And that's the setup for the show. Just in the preview, she just said, it's like, I'm pregnant? But I'm a virgin. It's like, okay. Just, first of all, that's not really a setup for a TV show. I know that the idea is, oh, but she's a virgin. How'd she get pregnant? How strange. But that's not enough for a show. I'm not saying they can't do it. Again, I haven't seen the show. I'm just going based off of their advertisement. But that's just a dumb setup. She's pregnant, but she's a virgin. Just the basic concept. That alone, it's like, how in the world are you going to stretch that into a series? Apparently, this is actually based off of a telenovela, but I don't know. I have no idea how you can stretch that out. But let's get back to that premise. She's pregnant, but she's a virgin. Now, when I first saw the advertisement for this, I was thinking, so how does that work? Like, my first thought was, are they suggesting this was Immaculate Conception? I'm not religious, but it's like, you know what? It's a TV show. It's not real. If you want to say, yes, it was Immaculate Conception, fine. There's nothing wrong with that. But they don't say anything about it in the preview. It's like, she's pregnant, but she's a virgin, and they don't mention it at all throughout the rest of the preview. It's like, I guess part of the surprise is that you find out how that happened, but it's like, okay, but that, never fucking happens. She's pregnant, but she's a virgin. It's not like that's just an everyday occurrence, like, oh man, I'm pregnant, but I'm a virgin. That doesn't just happen, just magically, like, boop, I'm pregnant. Wow, that was strange. It's just a really bizarre way to introduce your show, because you're holding out the surprise of how it happened, but you really need to explain how it happened for the show to even fucking make sense. So, like I was saying, if they just said that it was Immaculate Conception or implied that that was it, I'd be like, fine, whatever, you can do that. It's a TV show, you can make up whatever the hell you want. But if it was, would that not be important at all? Would nobody care about that? Like, hey, aren't you a virgin? How'd you get pregnant? Oh, it was Immaculate Conception. Oh, okay, well, I'm sure that nobody cares about that. I'm sure that's no big deal. It's not like, the last time that we believe that happened, it was any big deal. So it's like, you can't just play that off like, oh, well, happens every day, But then I was thinking, okay, I guess there are two other possibilities, but if this is supposed to be kind of a comedy show on television, I can't imagine it would be these two possibilities. But the other two things I was thinking were, one, I guess while she was sleeping, somebody could have, taken a turkey baster full of sperm and squirted it into her, and that's how she got pregnant. I don't know. Again, it's kind of an odd thing for a television comedy drama. But another possibility is she could have been roofied at a party. I don't know. Passed out drunk. And somebody fucked her, and that's how she got pregnant. She just didn't remember it. I don't know how you would not realize that that was the case. But it's like, okay, well, maybe those are the possibilities. Those are the three basic possibilities. So the concept just made no sense to me. And just recently, I thought about it again, because I was hearing about some other, oh my god, it was the stupid romantic comedy television show A to Z. And I will probably talk about that. I haven't watched it. I know it's not fair that I don't watch these things and I judge them from afar, but I'm just going based off of their advertisements, because when something looks stupid in its advertisement, it's kind of hard to say, but it's really, actually, it's good in real life, you know. Yeah, it looks stupid here, but it's actually good. Well, then that's a really big failure on the part of the advertisers, isn't it? If it looks stupid, but it's actually good, maybe they need to change their method of advertising. But yeah, I'll probably get to the A to Z romantic comedy crap. But right now, Jane the Virgin. So anyway, recently I looked up the actual premise of the show. And here is how it is described. A doctor mistakenly artificially inseminates her during a checkup. I'm going to say that again. A doctor mistakenly artificially inseminates her during a checkup. A checkup. Now, I was kind of confused originally with the idea of, okay, she's pregnant and she's a virgin. But like I said, if it had just been, oh, it's immaculate conception, it's a miracle, okay, yeah, sure, whatever. You know, at least that's an explanation. But this is even more stupid than the ideas that I came up with. I mean, again, I haven't seen the show, but let's just think about that for a second. A doctor mistakenly artificially inseminates her during a checkup. Now, I don't know what kind of checkup this was. If it was just like a physical, I don't know what this character does for a physical, but for me, I go to a family doctor. And last time I checked at like a family doctor, they don't artificially inseminate. They don't do anything like that. They just do basic checkups. They prescribe medicines and things like that. So I don't know why that would have, like, you know, the sperm and the physical would not be in the same place, is what I'm getting at, if it was just a family doctor. But okay, maybe it was a checkup with a gynecologist. But I guess I don't know for sure, but do they artificially inseminate at the gynecologist's office? I've never been to a gynecologist's office, but I mean, my understanding is that sperm is stored in a sperm bank. That's where the donors go. That's where the sperm is reserved. So, I mean, do they do artificial insemination at the gynecologist's office? Again, I don't know. I guess that would make more sense than a family doctor. But it's like the idea of that. Like, okay, let's say somebody, I guess, wanted to be artificially inseminated. So what? Did they just like... I mean, how do you accidentally artificially inseminate someone? Was it just like... Was it a low-budget operation? Did they just put the sperm in a turkey baster and leave it sitting on a small table? The doctor just walked in and just was like, you know, oh, okay, somebody wants to be artificially inseminated. I'll just take this and there you go. And it's like, I guess he didn't realize that it was the wrong person? I'm just saying, nothing about that makes any sense. How do you accidentally artificially inseminate somebody? I mean, I thought that it was a more complex process than just a freaking turkey baster, but let's say it was an incredibly simple process. How do you not realize that you're doing it to the wrong person? How is that just an accident? You don't just accidentally do something like that. And then, how did Jane, this character, how did she not know that that's what happened? Was she passed out during this checkup? I'm not usually passed out during my checkups. And my understanding is that when women go to the gynecologist, they're not passed out. They're wide awake. But, I mean, I don't understand. Like I said, this premise makes even less sense. What kind of doctor... what doctor would you be going to who also does artificial insemination if it's just a checkup? And then even if they do, how do you accidentally artificially inseminate somebody? Like I said, it's not like it's just a freaking turkey baster with sperm in it, and I guess you didn't look at the patient to make sure that they were the ones who wanted to be artificially inseminated, and there was no preparation process. It's just one doctor who just squirts the sperm up into you, and that's it. I mean, I don't know. There's a reason why I don't watch, romantic comedies and a lot of these supposed comedy shows on television. It's because they're so stupid. I mean, they could just be stupid in execution. It could just be, well, they're not that funny, or, the premises of each individual episode are not that good. But with this, it's like, no, this is the premise for an entire show. It's called Jane the Virgin. That the whole focus is on the fact that she is pregnant, but she's a virgin. And this is all because a doctor accidentally inseminated her. I don't know how to, no pun intended, come at that. It's just such a stupid idea. I mean, I don't care if this was a show that previously existed. That doesn't mean it was good. Why are you redoing this? It's a really stupid premise. I mean, that's not just incompetent. It's like, I would think, couldn't you sue that doctor for accidentally artificially inseminating you? Again, how the hell do you do that? But let's just say that it happened. Oh, and yeah, that's another thing. Let's say that regardless of how ridiculous that idea is, that this woman, Jane, young woman, was artificially inseminated by accident, what if it didn't work? The whole show is about the fact that she's pregnant, so I guess it's a good thing that she has a hospitable womb, that, that there was actually development of a child. I mean, I'm pretty sure that there are people who intentionally get artificially inseminated and it doesn't stick. It may never work for them, or at least it won't work the first time. It's not just like sperm goes in and boom, you're pregnant, and that's the way it is with everybody all the time. It doesn't matter how young you are. I mean, sometimes it just doesn't happen. You just don't get pregnant. It also depends if she wasn't planning on getting artificially inseminated. What if it was during a time in her cycle when it would be least likely for her to get pregnant? I'm just saying, it's not like you just put sperm in and boom, a baby appears. The chances of that are already kind of slim. I mean, it entirely depends upon her body. Like I said, does she even have a hospitable womb? Apparently. But, I'm just saying, even if the doctor accidentally artificially inseminated her, who's to say that it would even stick? I mean, it's like, those are two really big leaps of faith, I guess you'd say, leaps in belief that we have to take. That this actually happened to somebody, that a doctor accidentally artificially inseminated someone, and then that it worked, that she actually got pregnant, and then that's the whole premise for the show. That's just really stupid. I mean, that's the setup for the show. That's so weak for a show, and it doesn't make any sense. Like I said, those two big things, the fact that this event even occurred and the fact that it led to anything, that she actually got pregnant. I don't know. I mean, I guess there's really nothing else I can say about it. I really wanted to get my thoughts out on this because I felt like it's just... And this is all... I mean, I've been talking for over 15 minutes now, and this is all based on just the preview to the show, just the commercial for it. I haven't even seen the freaking show. You know, maybe it's good. It's not the kind of thing that I would want to watch. But, God, the premise is just so stupid. I can't imagine somebody thinking about that in the first place, and then somebody else going, you know what? Let's remake this show. I'm sure that it'll be really good. And I don't care whether or not... I mean, like I said, this whole thing was inspired. I thought about this show because of somebody talking about the show A to Z, and they were talking about how, you know, like, well, it does have a few good jokes, and it's like, okay, it's okay if it's funny. Like, okay, it's good. If it's supposed to be a comedy, then it's good that it's actually funny. But that doesn't make up for the fact that if it has a terrible premise, it has a terrible premise. That's just a fact. You know, anybody can make good jokes with any setup, but if the setup itself is just really stupid and makes no sense, it's going to be kind of hard to get into the story. It's going to be hard to see the characters as realistic and to follow along in their misadventures. But yeah. Anyway, this is one of the stupidest premises for a TV show I've ever heard. Not counting reality shows, but for a comedy show, this is pretty freaking stupid. But anyway, those are my thoughts on Jane the Virgin. Thank you for listening, and have a great day. I'm Drachona. And yeah, that's who I am. At least I'm pretty sure last time I checked. But yeah, have a good day.